Everyone, my name's Angelina. I'm your new salon support worker and educator. Welcome to our monthly education here at Founders. Really excited to bring this to you. Today is a public holiday, so I'm just doing a pre-recorded session for you guys. In the future, though, I would be liking it to be a little bit more interactive so we can all get together and chat and discuss different options and build our knowledge together in the Founders brand. So today is an introductory to Founders and the 4 pillars. I'm going to be just going through some of our values and beliefs, and then the 4 pillars and what that means and how we're formulating to meet these four pillars. And for more extensive retail training, I want you to book a session with me and I can go through products with you. It's so important to know your range. So please, I'm available to do this with you one-on-one. I'd love that opportunity to do it with you and make sure that you're really on the right page with how you're recommending the product, how it can be used. The range is so versatile. So definitely take that opportunity up and get yourself empowered with knowledge. But yeah, I'm just going today into a little bit more of the values and how we're different, just as an introduction. Okay, so most of you guys I've spoken with already. You should have your product plan, your new manual. If you don't, please reach out to me and I'll send it to you. I'm going to be going through, you might be able to follow along with this. I'm going to be going through some of it, maybe touching on some of the retail products in here and the 4 pillars in here. But otherwise, it's transcribed here for you, so you can follow along there and just listening as well. So Founders Formula. So our philosophy here at Founders is that we are committed to formulating without compromise. So what that means is we're choosing wild harvested and organic ingredients wherever possible. We're avoiding toxins and any endocrine disruptors and any ingredient with known or suspected toxicity. We're prioritizing clean evidence-based alternatives. As scientists, we formulate based on rigorous research. We select the most potent Australian botanicals and pair them with those cutting-edge biotechnology, like our peptides and ceramide, to deliver real and measurable results, okay? We also understand that natural doesn't always mean gentler, and some plant extracts are incredibly active and can alter the skin's chemistry. So we only use functional botanicals. We never use essential oils for fragrance alone. So for example, lavender, it may be calming in the air, but it's not suitable for your face. Or cinnamon might be beautiful to smell and set the tone, not suitable for your face, can be really irritating. Our formulations are 100% fragrance-free. Every ingredient has a purpose, and our integrative skincare approach is rooted in the belief that beauty and wellness are inseparable, and that truly beautiful skin is first and foremost healthy skin. So that's our philosophy here at Founders. Clean products, all having a purpose to make evidence-based changes on the skin. All right, so the 4 pillars. What are the 4 pillars? So the 4 pillars in our Founders range, you're talking hydration, brightening, calming, and pro-aging. Okay, so what does that mean? What does that look like? In our introductory facial, you're focusing on hydration. So in most cases, when someone comes in and presents themselves to you, you should be focusing on first and foremost hydrating the skin. Their concern may be breakouts, blackheads, congestion, or pigmentation or aging. But if that skin cell is not adequately hydrated, it won't perform how it needs to in a healthy, functional way. And then it won't be able to meet the condition of the pigmentation. There'll be an accumulation of dead cells there, so that pigmentation will look darker, and it will be congested because there's not enough water in there pushing those that accumulated oil out of the skin, and it will look dull and lifeless and maybe be puffy and appear more prematurely aged. So properly hydrated skin allows for maximum skin cell function. The barrier repair and nutrient absorption are all enhanced when there's hydration enhanced, okay? The exfoliation is naturally sped up and the enzymatic process is restored. So that natural exfoliation rather than the need to exfoliate every single day. But when the skin has adequate hydration, it has a natural enzymatic process where it's just sloughing off as it's required, as it needs to every 4 to 6 weeks. The result of a hydrated skin after our treatments is the cells are plumped, the skin feels soft, bouncy, and more comfortable. So there's no tight feeling or there's no flaking of the skin. So at times, there will be people who are really inflamed, rosacea, aggravated, that a hydrating treatment still could be a little bit too much for them. We have got our calming protocol, our calming booster. So what is calming? Why calming? Microinflammation is a major cause of abnormal pigmentation and early cell death, so premature aging. So the correct botanicals stop the chronic inflammation, allowing for calm, non-reactive skin once again. So in some instances, so obviously if someone comes in, they're really inflamed and aggravated, you're going to do a calming treatment to help address this obvious inflammation and put out the fire that is in their skin right there. However, for those skins or those clients that come in that are highly stressed but have a huge focus on anti-aging, sometimes a calming treatment is required because that microinflammation is the major cause of cell death or early cell death and premature aging. So unless the skin is calm, it is not going to perform in a way that it needs to for those skin cells to function optimally. So we know that a stressed client is going to have increased cortisol levels, and that is then present in the skin. It might feel itchy, it might feel tight, it might have that little bit of underlying redness in the skin or be reactive. So a calming approach, the calming serum, is always a good option to have in those clients in that room. Our brightening pillar. So hyperpigmentation is caused by sun damage, by hormones, by acne scarring, or aging and age spots. So our aim with our brightening treatments is to reduce these, and it's reduce or preventing new pigmentation from surfacing as that pigment process is normalized. So sometimes there's an overproduction of melanin, and what we're trying to do is inhibit that production so it's normalized. So the results of these are the skin is luminous with an even tone and the cell function is no longer compromised. However, like I said, if somebody came in and they're concerned with pigmentation, yet their skin is severely dehydrated, they're not going to have that normal natural enzymatic process occurring. So therefore, you'll have an accumulation of dead cells on the surface, and that makes the pigmentation appear darker. Now, for some people, they will address that or think they're addressing that in an appeal, aggressive peels. Let's lighten the skin, let's peel it off. But it's the same, you're going to have the same result thereafter once the skin has calmed down from the peel. And sometimes you're going to have worse results because you'll get post-inflammatory pigmentation or hyperpigmentation from people not using the correct sun protection afterwards when their skin the barrier is impaired from their peel. So the skin actually really needs to be hydrated for that enzymatic process to be naturally occurring, not against peels in some shape and form, but first and foremost, let's get that skin really healthy and hydrated so it's performing at its peak, and then we can look at some more aggressive treatments if that's what the client would like to go what route the client would like to go down, or some of the other tools that you might have in your clinic. Pro-aging. So pro-aging is one of our 4 pillars and arguably our most popular pillar within the range. It's all about anti-aging products, but we don't want to call it anti-aging. We want to say pro-aging. It's aging in the best way that we can, allowing us to look at our healthiest no matter what age, okay? So cell oxidation is a major cause of aging. So we want to try and prevent this, and cells can function optimally with improved cell membrane health, resulting in DNA repair. So with the right plant botanicals, we are going to enable that cell to function optimally. We're going to enhance that cell membrane. The connective tissue and the collagen production is stimulated with some of these plant extracts, then the production is stimulated once again with a healthy cell division. So the skin is radiant and dewy, and the dermis and epidermis are at optimal health. So it's not to say the skin needs to look frozen, but the skin will look radiant and dewy, and the dermis and epidermis will be nice and thick and dewy. So we are hugely results driven at Founders. I think that is one of the questions we get often. Perhaps, the idea is that plant-based products maybe won't be as effective as some of their clinical ranges, or some of their other ranges that they have in the salon. So our ingredients are results driven. There's case studies that back this information about some of these amazing ingredients. So I'm just going to go through some of them now that is in our booklet, just as a base. The Australian native tobacco. So there's clinical trials of this active ingredient, which is in our Phyto A. The Australian native tobacco show remarkable results. So after 28 days, there's 42% improvement in wrinkle count, 31% improvement in wrinkle volume, and 37% improvement in wrinkle depth. So skin radiance due to pore size minimization and measured with a spectrophotometer improved by 47%. Hydration improved by 27%. So Phyto A is an incredible product that in our range that if you're not using, you should totally be trying to use. Try it on yourself, see what you think, and then you happily want to recommend it for your clients. It works like a retinoid, but it's 4 times more effective than both retinoic acid and retinol at stimulating collagen. Australian native tobacco. So it's an excellent ingredient that we have in our Phyto A. That product is phenomenal. So our wild harvested Kakadu plum, its gloss value is the scale used to measure changes in skin luminosity. So the average improvement in gloss value in clinical trials on Kakadu plum extract with 20 volunteers with an average of 37, average age of 37, was 17%. On the best volunteer, Kakadu plum extract was shown to induce skin luminosity up to 21% after only 15 days, and then 30% after 30 days. So our vitamin C, so many of you are using because it is incredible. That wild harvested Kakadu plum. Our Tasmanian mountain pepperberry is another really popular ingredient within our products. In one clinical trial, Tasmanian pepperberry was shown to reduce and alleviate the signs of inflammation in chemically challenged skin. So 20 healthy male volunteers older than 18 with sensitive or reactive skin were used. The test was performed in accordance with the declaration of Helsinki and its subsequent revision by a dermatologist. Induction of stinging reaction. The stinging reaction was induced in the skin on nasogenial groove in order to select a panel of subjects having sensitive skin. This application area is a site rich in the nervous fibers that determines the hypersensitivity problem. The reaction was induced by the experimenter using a cotton ball soaked with a hydroalcoholic solution. Volunteers were then asked to describe the stinging sensation using a 4-point clinical scale. Volunteers who did not notice any stinging reactions after 2 minutes of the solution were excluded from the study. Tasmanian pepperberry produced immediate itching reduction in male volunteers with reactive and sensitive skin problems. The itching sensation was significantly reduced by 79% after only 5 minutes. It's really incredible. It's really powerful stuff, our Tasmanian mountain pepperberry. So the peptides in our native river mint cooling eye serum also accelerate the draining of congestion, and clinical studies show that with continued use for 14 days, congestion is drained to improve eye bags and dark circles by 29%. So that's some really cool statistics or percentages that, if that's your way of retailing or educating clients, that you could use. So you've got your vitamin C, your Australian native tobacco or your Phyto A, and your Tasmanian mountain pepperberry, as well as your native river mint cooling eye serum. They're all in your introductory manual. Go through them, put them on your wall in your salon staff room. 14 days, if you could tell a client that in 14 days I can, this cooling eye serum can improve your eye bags and dark circles by 29%. It's been proven to do so by 29%. That is pretty incredible. Clients tend to love hearing that kind of information.